It's been a while since I did a Buckeye reaction upload on how I think things are going or how I thought that the games went. It's now the end of week 10, technically. We're 8-1 with a win over Nebraska this week of 26-17. And I just thought that since it's been about a month or so since I posted something, I might as well just kind of get my feelings up. Because there's Buckeye feelings all over the place. Good, bad, ugly. Either way, Buckeye fans got feelings about the way that the season's going. I'll start with the Nebraska game. We played the best 7-loss team in probably the history of college football. To average across 7 losses now, single score deficits at the end of the game, that means they could easily be as undefeated, minus the Buckeye game since that was a double, like a 2-score loss. But outside of the Buckeye game, they could easily have been undefeated coming into this weekend. At least tied against Oklahoma, seeing what's going on in overtime. Other than that, everything's been 7 or less. So, quality win. Quality win. From the standpoint of they're better than their record shows. It was not a quality win as far as our ability to perform on the field was. And I say ours, I know I wasn't on the field. It was strictly them. Right, but you heard it from people like Austin Ward after the game on Letterman Rose, game reaction, that everybody just seemed flat. They seemed like they weren't in it. I get it. Garrett Wilson didn't travel. Jones had a stomach bug or something going on, so he wasn't playing on the offensive line, even though he was still in on field goal kicks and extra points. And, you guys are just kind of out of it, thinking, maybe even though the coaches say they're good, they're still a 6-loss team, and we're going to get them. Well, guess what? You play like that, it shows up, and when everybody's dissecting the games that everybody is playing right now in the top 10, you essentially got exposed for the second straight week. Whether they're better than Penn State by the way that they've been playing and the quality losses, if that's even a thing, the quality losses they have against some of the best teams out there. I mean, Michigan, Michigan State, Oklahoma, and now Ohio State. Then I guess you can count it up like that. But offensive line, I get it. Ryan Day used the word helter-skelter up there. Piecing it together. Moving pieces around. Trying to figure out what the best option and the best setup is. That's fine. I can take that. Right? But at what point, Ryan Day, did that mean that you abandon the run game from essentially the midway point in the third quarter to the midway point in the fourth quarter? When is that what that meant? Because you went strictly pass happy. Everybody's been calling you out on it. You do this when it seems like you get nervous, right? But again, you don't got to call them 4 tackles. You got dang near the size of a NFL offensive line playing an offensive line for you. You literally just got to lean on these boys. But when you don't lean on them for what equates to almost an entire quarter, you set yourself up for failure because you're not wearing out their defensive line. So, production, not good. In my opinion, not good. We won the game. Noah Ruggles, hey, balling. I like to see, I grew up, watching the Buckeyes back in like '02. Was like the first year I think I was like really kind of like aware of who they were. So, hey, OSU kickers, they be bringing it. So I'm glad to see another OSU kicker out there doing a good job. But at the same extent, like at some point, you got to just lean on the line and say, hey, you guys aren't having a good game. Use your weight. Use your body size. You know where the blocks are going to. You know where you need to be moving if you're double teaming, going up, stretching up to the second level. Right? Like you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. But I'm going to lean on you to work it in there. Because right now, to be honest, you know how I feel? Because my father-in-law texted me. He was like, hey, He's like, we just got to keep winning out, and things are gonna happen. Yada yada yada. We're gonna make it. And I don't think he's wrong. I think if we won out, that's fine. We would make it. But how do I feel? I feel like 2015. It might be 16, but I'm talking that year we went in and got blanked by Clemson. Right, where the defense was like, okay, but they've been a little suspect, but not anything crazy. And then the offense was like, yo, we ain't really doing nothing all year. We kind of been like scat the whole year. So I got to move because the baby's starting to cry. So that's how I feel. And from that standpoint, personally, I'd rather go to a bowl game and just win the bowl game. I ain't trying to get embarrassed. I ain't trying to mess around and be the fourth ranked team behind Oregon and Bama or Oregon and Oklahoma and have to play Georgia. And people be like, oh, I want to see Ohio State's offense or Georgia's defense. What Ohio State offense? Because I'm going to keep it a buck. It might not have been him, and I'm gonna say it was because that's who I feel like said it. But I swear I heard Berm from Letterman Row say that during Travion Henderson's recruitment, that he said he did not want to be a 20-plus carry back every single game because he wanted to save it for the NFL. Cool. Like that's how you were able to sign two top-notch running backs in the same class because neither one of them wanted to be that back. Well, guess what? You're not giving any carries to anybody else. You're not giving any carries to anybody else. All right? Pork Chop ain't getting no carries. Teague ain't getting no carries. You're just giving them to Henderson. So I'm sitting here looking around like, are we not running the ball because Deuce said during his recruitment he didn't want to be a 20-plus carry back consistently? Well, where's the fight and the die for the team? I get he's from Virginia. He ain't from Ohio. That's fine. I ain't putting it on him. But you got 3 quality backs who can easily spell him on first down for a carry. T can go in there and get those 4-yard carries that he was getting yesterday and he's been getting for the last 2 weeks. He can go in there and get those. And after he beats him up for 1 or 2 plays, then you can put Henderson back in. But instead, it's like you're bending the knee to the dude. Like, okay, so he don't want to carry it. He's our best back. We're going to have him in anyways. So we're just going to throw the ball instead. Now, Stroud, I'm going to keep it 100. First and foremost, Oregon game in the stands. I said it. It's off year. It's off year. It's allowed to be an off year. That's okay. They happen. But don't gloss it up and paint it up like it's the prom queen. Because it ain't. It might be lucky because there ain't nobody but Georgia, and you might catch Georgia slipping because you do have the receivers and the skill positions. But with the play calls currently, I mean, that's a whole different conversation. It ain't going to happen. Anyways, Stroud, even then, you know what I said? Like, he plays like a female dog. Buckeye fans, you want to get salty? Be salty. Because tell me right now that there wasn't at least 3 third downs yesterday where he was back there and he's stepping up in the pocket, throwing from within a foot of the line of scrimmage, and you're like, yo, run the ball. You could have just ran the ball. And you would have gotten the first down. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. Right? Maybe you got to make a little dude miss. Bro, we saw your athleticism last year against Michigan State. You got the speeds. You got at least one slight half juke move to make a dude miss because he ain't expecting you to run, you can get the first down. Instead, the only time you ran the ball yesterday was on an option play where, yeah, the dude was splitting it good. You shouldn't have pitched it, and so you kept it, and that was cool. But you didn't do nothing to try and get him to bite down on you. You didn't force the action quicker by getting your outside foot in the ground and trying to get a little more vertical to make him have to commit or not commit. I don't want Justin Fields. Justin Fields had to put himself into harm's way. I don't want that. I don't want JT Barrett. I don't want Cardale Jones. But I also don't want Justin Zwick. No offense, Justin Zwick. I ain't a hater. But no, I don't want Justin Zwick. I don't want somebody who's going to stand back there and just wait to throw it. And that's what's been going on. Right? CJ Stroud, you got to make up your mind. You trying to win the games or you trying to be healthy? If you're trying to be healthy, cool. Then I guess this is what we're dealing with for the rest of the year. If you're trying to win the games, you got to get that foot in the ground. You got to bring that ball down, and you got to tuck it. You don't got to put your shoulder down and hit nobody. You can go up there and slide. You can dive forward. That's fine. But there are obvious situations where anybody can see that you should have tucked the ball and ran it, and you're not. And I get that Ryan Day is your coach, but he keeps bailing you out by saying, I'm fine with the decision making that he's made. Really? Why? Because you don't want him to get hurt? Bruh. Because you know McCord sitting in the wings, ready to go? Not to mention, what, 30, 36 for 54, something like that, passing. 15 to Jackson Smith, just on catches, not even incomplete passes. But you had Julian Fleming out there. You had Ibuka out there. You had Marvin Harrison out there. I swear he targeted all of them less than 10 times. Less than 10 times. He only went to what he's comfortable with. People hyping him up like he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's a Heisman Trophy winner because he's the quarterback who's in here. RJ Young been saying that all year. He's like, Joe, you got a Ferrari. You just got to figure out who to put in there. That means the offense makes the quarterback look good. I'm not saying that he's bad. By any stretch of the means, I'm not saying that he's bad. He's throwing some of the nicest passes I've ever seen somebody throw, not to mention the fact he's in his first year of actually playing college football. He's been throwing some dimes out there. But to the same extent, it's like you could put somebody else in there and they could throw it to the guys who are wide open. They could make similar reads and decisions that he's making. He had a great 3-game stretch after getting what I'm going to say was essentially benched for a week. Even if it was just to get healthy, he was essentially like, they were like, hey, you're going to sit. We're going to play these other dudes. Right? And then he comes back, has a great 3-game stretch, putting up all world numbers. And then the first 2 opponents that he plays that are actually good, he looks just like he did at the beginning of the year. He looks skittish. He's throwing inaccurate passes. He's hitting people at the feet. You want to put it back on the AC joint? Yo, cop out. Cop out. I don't know. I'm not a CJ Stroud hater.